The views expressed are not necessarily those of KSCJ and Powell Broadcasting Company. This program is not intended to replace the advice of doctors or other clinical providers. Consult with your practitioner to ensure the proper course of action for you.
Welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well on AM 1360, FM 94.9 KSCJ. This program is dedicated to your mental health wellness and brought to you by Family Services, a United Way partner agency. Here's your host, Art Silva.
Good morning, Siouxland, and welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well. This show is all about your mental wellness and how you can help yourself navigate the daily highway of life. We hope to educate and motivate you to help improve your mental wellness environment. I'm Art Silva, and our show is brought to you by Family Services, a United Way partner agency serving the Siouxland community. Let me introduce my co-host, Brenda Geisinger, the Chief Operating Officer of Boys and Girls Home. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning.
And how are you today?
I am fabulous. How about you?
10 fingers, 10 toes. I'm all set. We're going to make it happen. We're dedicating 2023 to families and the stress they are facing daily. We have our own family at Boys and Girls Home, residential and family services. So, Brenda, can you give us a little update on how things are going on the ranch?
When we always start the spring season, we get really kind of a spring fever at the agency. The kids are energized. We get outside and just kind of welcome that fresh air and all the more energy to help people and families.
Well, I got to tell you, it's the buds are coming up. I think the weather's kind of fooling the plants. So we got to get our kids out there. They need that energy, and they sleep well at night. So that's all good. Brenda, would you please introduce our guest today?
So today we have with us Camp High Hopes Director Sarah Morgan.
Hello.
We, quite often hear about Camp High Hopes and all the wonderful things we do there.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought we'd bring in the expert and kind of share with us what we all do and all the exciting things happening. Welcome, Sarah.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me.
Good morning, Sarah, and welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well. Let's talk about you.
All right. So what do you want to know about me?
How about your background?
All right. So I moved to Sioux City in 2005. I was the morning anchor for KMEG for 5 years there. Then we moved to Omaha. Met my husband. Some of you may know him, Travis Morgan.
We know Travis.
Yep.
Great
Sioux
guy.
City Musketeers CEO. So then we moved to Omaha. We really missed Sioux City. We still had our house here. So we moved back. And then I spent 4 years at KTIV as the morning anchor. And he has done a few different things. He was at KCAU, the casino, the symphony, but now he's found his love of the Muskies. And then when I was pregnant with our daughter 6 years ago now, 7 years ago now, she's 6. So that to be pregnant, I was 7 years ago. I thought it was kind of time for a change. Waking up at 2 a.m. with a newborn, going to bed at 6 p.m. That was my schedule. With a newborn just didn't sound great. So decided to kind of get out of TV. And I was thinking of a couple jobs that I would like to do. And Camp High Hopes was on that list. And there was a marketing and fund development job at Camp High Hopes. And I knew the executive director, so I talked to her about it. And she was like, oh my gosh, please apply. So I did. I got the job. So I was the advancement director for 6 years. And then going into my 7th year, I was promoted to the executive director position. So I've been doing that for a little over a year now. And I love camp. I love what we do there. So it's been a great fit.
You love it when you get the person on the bus in the right seat. And Sarah, you do a great job
Thank
for
you.
the agency and your public relation piece. I mean, you can see your background in TV. You just do a great job. So it's
Thank
a pleasure
you so
to
much.
have you on the show today. Let's talk about what happens other than magic at Camp High Hopes.
I love that. That's magic too. Yeah. We do so many different things at Camp High Hopes, and that's what makes it so interesting. We support so many different types of people with so many different abilities. 5 years old and up, that's our criteria. You have to have a diagnosed disability. So just 2 factors there. And so that really can be a wide range of things. For children, it's often, the parents are looking for a summer camp experience for, their child with a disability. I'm sure many of you went to camp as a kid, maybe Boy Scout camp, Girl Scout camp, church camp. I know I did. And that experience, those memories, those activities that you would never have a chance to do anywhere else, they stay with you for so long. And so we wanted to bring that experience to people with disabilities because you can learn so much from summer camp, right? From that camp experience. So kids really use us for those, once in a lifetime opportunities, new experiences, new activities, but of course, making friends. Having a friend who's also in a wheelchair that you may not know, or another friend who has autism or something like that is so empowering to these kids. And so it's just so special. So all of our activities are adapted to them, and so they get to participate in absolutely everything. Adults might use us as kind of a vacation. You and I can jump on a plane and go somewhere. Well, people with disabilities don't have that opportunity. So they get to come to camp, spend a week at camp as kind of their vacation. So
Nice.
Oh, that is great. I'm Art Silva, along with Sarah Morgan, Executive Director of Camp High Hopes, and Brenda Geisinger, Chief Operating Officer at Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. And we have our guest today talking about what goes on at Camp High Hopes. Now, you mentioned briefly camping experience. Now, I've had a camping experience. It was wild, but I more want to talk about my kids' camping experience.
Oh, yeah.
Back east, my son went to the YMCA day camp, and the bus would pick him up in the morning, and the bus would bring him back at the afternoon. Well, the only problem was he kept coming back with somebody else's underwear, and my wife couldn't figure it out. He had James one day, and then the next day he had Phil's underwear. And I guess when they go swimming, the kids, they change.
Yes,
And
yep.
It's a riot. But I said, who's who today in the underwear world?
Right. Oh, that's so funny.
Now, those are stories that come out of that with kids at camp.
Oh, yes. Our lost and found pile grows every time. We try to get things back to parents and kids, but sometimes it's a lost cause too. But it is those experiences. One of my first summers at Camp High Hopes, and I love to tell this story, was this gentleman in a wheelchair. He had very limited mobility. And again, all of our activities are adapted to their ability. So we have this activity called a monkey tree. It's a high ropes kind of type of course or activity, and they can climb up to the top of the tree, ring a bell,
wow.
and look down at their friends cheering for them so they feel just like everybody else. So this particular camper has very limited mobility, but we have this special equipment where we're able to get him up in the sling, hoist him up to the top. And so I'll call him Joe, for example. The counselors were like, Joe, are you ready to come down yet? And he didn't answer. So like, Joe, you ready to come down yet? Still no answer. So the third time he goes, okay. Like he just wanted to stay up there. And the smile on his face when he came down was just the best thing and the best memory that I have. And so it's those memories of those activities that our campers get every time that they're at camp.
We wish we could measure things by smile.
Oh, I know.
Smiles guarantee something's going well. Brenda, our kids, we try to look at a summer camp for them. They have different needs, but we like to keep this going year-round if possible. You want to talk about what we would do at our summer camp?
So our kids do a lot of day activities, going to parks, nature walks, just getting involved with the community and all the activities that are offered, and also providing some school academic assistance and getting them caught up in maybe some areas that they're struggling with. So it's just a way to enrich their lives. When Sarah's talking about those experiences and kids feeling like, the world is a good place, and that smile, it just says wonders.
Yes.
And we're just happy to expose kids to those experiences and participate and letting them know the adults aren't bad people. We're here to have fun with you.
That's so important with our kids, giving them that structure. And I love what Sarah does because we can't lump everybody into one group. We have specialty needs, and these are children that are very vulnerable. So, Sarah, what you're doing with them, and when you were talking about going up on the ropes and the special equipment, you have what you need to help these kids participate. And they're not going to find that someplace else. It's very rare. So
Right.
Camp High Hope does a wonderful job. And we just look forward to those kids coming out and being able to participate as much as they can in the joy of life.
Right.
So you help them find that little pursuit of happiness with their spaces and what they can do. So That's just great. And I guess your reward, how do you judge your staff's reward?
Oh, the stories at the end of the summer. I hear often, for our day camp, for example, during the summer, we have campers that might come several times during the summer or maybe even every week during the summer. And, at the beginning of the summer, they might be a little hesitant to try anything. Maybe they just sit down and watch their friends. Then maybe the next week they'll try the harness on and put the helmet on, but they don't want to go, but they'll just, they'll be, okay, I'll try it on. Then the next week, maybe they'll get up into the harness and get up onto the sling at least or something like that. And then maybe that final week, they actually do it. We've heard those stories over and over again where they just kind of make, it's a challenge by choice type of environment. We offer all of the encouragement and the support, but ultimately it's their choice. And so when they make that choice and make that big leap forward, it's so rewarding to see that, they're relying on us for their safety and their fun and their enjoyment, and then they're taking their own initiative. They're growing their independence and their skills to do it themselves too.
Brenda, last week you shared with us a reluctant child that we have in care on Cone Park, and that was a good outcome.
Yeah, there was a young girl, and she had been bullied in the public school system than where she lived, and really had not participated in any kind of activities for about 4 years. Her anxiety was pretty high, and so to go to Cone Park was really a challenge for her. She kind of stood at the top of the hill, just kind of, am I going to do this? Am I not? And she went down 3 different times finally, and at the end of the day, she was like, wow, it just feels really good to be a kid again. And so times where they're having to overcome those fears in a safe environment can really make all the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're coming up on our break right now, so continue your early morning chill. We'll be right back with more of When Things Aren't Going Well right here on 1360 AM, 94.9 FM, KSCJ.
Let's face it, that happens to all of us. However, the pandemic has compounded all of our lives and activities. Even the simplest tasks seem harder. Hi, I'm Brenda Geisinger, the Chief Operating Officer at the Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. Family Services is a United Way partner agency serving children and families of our community, and we're here to help. If you'd like to learn more about Family Services, please contact us via email, website, Facebook, or phone Mary Pickens. At Family Services, we change lives.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well on KSCJ. Here's Art Silva.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well. I'm Art Silva along with Brenda Geisinger and Sarah Morgan, the Executive Director of Camp High Hopes. Let's continue our discussion. Let's focus on mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing at Camp High Homes, on top of the disabilities that children already have, a mental health impact?
Oh, absolutely. So kind of one of the essential services that we offer that people don't think about, first, but it's an absolute essential service is respite care. Respite care for those families, those caregivers. So when campers come to camp, their loved one, their parent, their caretaker, their sibling, whoever is taking care of them gets a break. That's the mental health piece that is so important and that essential service that we offer too. We're a Medicaid respite service provider for Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota because it is such an important piece of taking care of somebody with a disability and a special need.
That is such an important program. My son participated with that out in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
You take that child and mom and dad get a little break.
Yes, absolutely. Imagine having a child with some severe disabilities or special needs, the 24/7 care that it takes for them. We have kids and their parents tell us they wake up 7 to 10 times a night. I mean, imagine, and they have a full-time job and they have other kids to take care of too, so it's just that break for, if they come to day camp, it's that break during the day, or if they come for a weekend camp, they get a break from Friday to Sunday, or our week-long camps, Sunday through Friday, they can focus on their other children. They can focus on that work project. They get to recharge, re-energize. That mental health piece is so important for the caretakers of our campers, 100%.
Well, no matter where it is, right across the board, mental health for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We could all use something that helps to make us deal with the day a little better and get our lives focused in a positive way. There's a lot of things going on out there. And, boy, I'm so pleased to hear this, Sarah, because respite programs are so important. When we look at the family stress this year and what's going on, and we look at your discipline of clients, yeah, they need a break. You just can't do this. And you mentioned other members of the family that need their attention. So that's just a great program. How did COVID affect your agency?
Whew, that was a tough one. We were planning a regular year just like we would. And then March came. March is our big final push to plan for summer camp, right? We're hiring, we're planning our events, we're planning our themes, our activities, enrolling tons of kids and adults, into our programs. And it just came to a screeching halt in March. So we had to cancel our programs for about 6-7 months. And so then that mental health piece was really lost in this.
Starting the schools, yes.
Yes. And so, we couldn't offer any programs. Our parents were like, we can't, all of mental health services, so many were closed, especially respite care. Respite care providers weren't going into homes because of COVID. They weren't opening their doors and allowing people to come in for their services like we had to do. So there was really very few options for respite care during that time. So we had families begging us to open for something. So what we did is we opened our gates and you could sign up for times to come into camp and just use our facilities. We would put out art supplies in the arts and crafts room. You could go see the animals. So it was a non-interactive type of experience, but it was just a safe place for families to go. Just, because parks were closed, so many things were closed. And so our families didn't have anywhere to go. So we opened our doors and, they could sign up for a time. So there would be few families at a time to come in. And then we had a strong demand from our family saying, please open back up. Do it a safe way, but we need some services. We need some respite care. And so we opened up 4 weekend camps back in September of 2020 again.
Well, that's great. And boy, you really clearly highlighted that need. We hear it also. Would you please open back up looking at our school?
Yes.
You give special attention to these children. And once they get into those programs, hate this, you can't live without them.
Right.
You need them every single day, and it's a range of not just the client, but the families. And we're trying to get that. And you did a nice job explaining how the families are affected by this. And then, the kid's going to be affected.
Absolutely.
Brenda, we had COVID. What would you talk about we moved family services during COVID.
Yes, we had to move family services and then keeping our kids safe that live with us. We had to do different access to the school. It was just a little overwhelming, I think, for everybody, whether it was us at our agency or just out in the community. Everybody has been impacted one way or another. I think the beauty of living where we do, we're all pulling together to make things right, do right by our kids, right by our families, getting these services and resources back out there and embracing that we made it and life is good.
That's the spirit, and that's the spirit that exists in the nonprofits in this town, especially the nonprofits that are serving families and children. Sarah, what's something that's noted for you that you do on top of the summer camp is Rib Fest.
Yes.
You want to talk about Rib Fest?
Rib Fest is our second biggest fundraiser during the summer, so it's coming up on June 24th this year. It is just a great time, a great food festival, public event for the summertime. You come in and you buy a ticket, you buy a punch card to eat, and you can try all different kinds of barbecue, so many different flavors.
Or you can keep going back to the same one.
Or you can keep going. We have people that do that. They find their favorite and keep going back. Absolutely. So ribs and chicken, sponsored by Tyson and Hard Rock, and it's just an awesome day of just a chill, tasty, live music, a great atmosphere downtown at Battery Park.
Smells real good there too, I'll tell you.
That, we set up all day Friday, and then I come back early Saturday morning, and that's when everybody's gotten going, and you get out of the car and you're like, oh my gosh.
It's here.
It smells so wonderful. Yeah.
And that's June 24th.
June 24th this year on Saturday. Yep.
Now, let's say I want to get my child into Camp High Hopes. What do I do?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best thing to do would be call our office. We can give you all the information. You can go to our website. We have all of our programs listed there. If you're curious about camp, like, will my child be good? Will my sibling be good? For adults too, they want to know where they're going to be spending the night, where they're going to be spending the time. They want to know the structure. So we can tell them all of that. You can come and take a tour so you know exactly where your loved one's going to be, how they're going to be taken care of. We have medical staff there so they can take care of all of their medication needs and all of their other medical needs that they may have while they're at camp. That's what makes us so special too, is we provide so much medical care for our campers. And there's nothing like us around within a 5-hour radius of Sioux City. So we're very unique in what we do in the area. But I would just welcome anybody to give us a call. Go to our website, come take a tour, see what we're about, because we are sure we can find a fit for your loved one.
Well, Sarah, this has been great. We learned a lot about Camp High Hopes today, and this is part of the structure in the city. There's help for everybody, and like Sarah says, her program is the program. You have to go 5 hours away to get the closest program. So if you need it, you can use this resource. Very important. We're coming up towards the end of our show, and every week we end our show with a joke. Humor is medicine for the soul. Here's our joke. When do you go on red and stop on green? When you're eating watermelon. Okay, that'll put you in a summer mood. Thanks, Brenda. Thanks, Sarah. And thanks to our listening audience. I want to give a shout out to Arby's for the recent Roundup promotion and the funds contributed to Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. Arby's has the meat, but they also have a heart. Thanks for supporting the children and families at Boys and Girls Home. I want to give you a stuff update. The stuff store is open in their new location, so come on down and get some great values. When Things Aren't Going Well will air next Saturday morning at 7 a.m. right here on 1360 AM, 94.9 FM, KSCJ. Your homework this week is to go out and have a good laugh. May the sun shine on you. Peace.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
For more information on the services provided by Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, see them online at boysandgirlshomeiowa.org. Or you can call 712-293-4700 to get more information about family services, residential treatment, the Opportunity School, the Siouxland Family Center, and more. At Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, we change lives. We change lives. We change lives.